Quick intro for this video. I'm not a My Little Pony fan. I know almost nothing about the world, but after playing Vampire with ChatGPT, I realized that maybe it was right. Maybe I wasn't understanding its story because I wasn't on the right edge of the avant-garde humor and horror that it was trying to lay down. So, a long time ago, my wife bought a tabletop RPG called My Little Pony. We never actually played it. We were planning a session with my niece and nephew, but it just never panned out. And I'm aware of My Little Pony as a concept, and I never want to yuck someone's yum. If you're a pony fan, you keep rocking, you keep being you, regardless of if you're 4 or if you're 80. However, I think placing ChatGPT's unique outlook on GMing in this universe might be what I'm looking for. So, I ask it to run, and it says,
I don't have your exact rulebook, and there are several My Little Pony tabletop RPGs, including the official Renegade Game Studios version using the Essence 20 system. Either way, we can still play. In this game, I'll take on the role of Game Master. I'll describe the world, portray all non-player characters, track consequences of your actions, and roll dice when uncertainty matters. I'll also present situations like mysteries, challenges, and complications as they arise. You'll simply describe what your character does in response. We can also choose the tone of the campaign.
I'd like to really get the true tabletop experience as much as possible. I think for the theme, I'd like to take My Little Pony against the horror of late-stage capitalism.
The campaign itself is called the Friendship Dividend. In the town of Honeybrook, generations of cooperation have built a stable community where neighbors rely on each other for everything from harvests to festivals. Then a company called Harmony Holdings arrives, promising efficiency, growth, and opportunity. Within a year, independent bakeries have become franchises, community gardens require permits, festivals are sponsored, weather work is outsourced, and everything is measured in productivity metrics. The mayor insists everything is fine, the numbers look good on paper, but the town feels different. Less connected, less happy. And rumors spread that something large is being built beneath the old rail station. Before the story begins, we would create your character by choosing a species such as Earth Pony, Pegasus, or Unicorn, defining who they are, and giving them one strength and one flaw.
My pony type is definitely Unicorn. My character concept is that he's a former high school racehorse who was forced out of the industry due to an unwillingness to use illegal drugs to compete at the highest levels. His name will be Incatatus, and his strength is that he's definitely fearless, but he is also socially awkward as a weakness.
Okay, your name is Incitatus. You are a champion racehorse known for competing at the highest levels. You build your reputation on speed, discipline, and consistency in elite competition. When trainers and sponsors begin pushing performance enhancements like alchemy, stimulant potions, and other methods to improve results, you refuse. You are never formally banned or punished, but the invitations simply stop coming, and the industry moves on without you. Strength. Fearless. You act quickly under pressure and do not hesitate in the face of authority or danger. Weakness. Socially awkward. You struggle to read situations and often say exactly what you think, even when it creates problems. Starting reputation. Among ordinary ponies, you're remembered as the unicorn who nearly won the Triple Crown. Among racing insiders, you are considered a troublemaker. Among yourself, you believe you were right. Session 1. The Friendship Dividend. Honeybrook, early spring. The rain was supposed to arrive 3 days ago, but it hasn't. Clouds still hang overhead while Pegasi in corporate blue uniforms fly across the sky with clipboards, calling out numbers that do not seem to match what the weather is doing. Most ponies do not seem concerned, which makes the situation feel even more wrong. You are standing outside the Golden Oats Cafe when a poster catches your attention. It appeared overnight, announcing Harmony Holdings, the future of friendship, with a noon event in town square about economic modernization and community optimization. At the bottom, in small print, it says that by attending, participants consent to the collection of behavioral metrics. You are not sure what that means, but you do not like it. The cafe door suddenly bursts open. A frazzled earth pony mare carrying a stack of papers collides with you, and the pages scatter across the ground. One lands at your hooves. It reads, Harmony Holdings internal use only. The mare freezes as she realizes what has happened, then looks between you and the paper. After a pause, she asks quietly, Please tell me you didn't read that.
I'm going to explain that I graduated from a conservative governed state's public school system, so naturally, of course, I can't read.
The mare stares. It's difficult to tell whether she thinks you're joking. Eventually, she says, I honestly don't know enough about public education to challenge that claim. She continues collecting papers. One sheet blows away down the street. The mare curses under her breath and chases after it, then stops halfway and comes back. She's clearly trying to make a decision. Finally, she says, Okay, new question. Can you keep a secret?
My socially awkward pony would say, Well, I was about to poop in a stall, but I can listen a while if you don't mind the noises and the smells.
The mare freezes as the weight of the moment settles in. Nearby, a cafe patron slowly lowers his newspaper and a barista pauses mid-polish, as if the whole street has briefly decided to stop moving. After a long silence, the mare exhales and admits that this is, surprisingly, not the strangest thing she has dealt with today. She introduces herself as Clover Ledger and explains that documents have left her office without authorization. She believes her employer is doing something wrong, but adds that reporting it through official channels would likely result in a quiet reassignment far away from anything familiar. She glances around, visibly uneasy, and says she needs help figuring out what is going on. Then she notices you have started moving toward the restroom while maintaining eye contact. After a pause, she asks if you are genuinely planning to continue this conversation while using the restroom. The question hangs there as Clover looks increasingly uncertain about her decision to involve you at all.
I mean, does this horse want me to poop on the ground like I'm some sort of barnyard animal?
Clover opens her mouth, closes it, then opens it again before conceding the point. She admits she was not prepared for this kind of transition, noting that most ponies would have phrased it more simply, while you had offered a full explanation of your current bodily priorities. A nearby barista snorts a laugh, and Clover immediately regrets everything as her ears flatten. She moves on, lowering her voice and explaining that she believes Harmony Holdings is manipulating something in the town, possibly payroll, land ownership, or weather contracts. She admits she is not certain, only that she keeps finding discrepancies and, worse, records that appear to have been corrected before she even reported them. That suggests someone already knew what she was looking for. She adds that documents are now leaving her office without authorization, and her frustration is growing because every answer she finds seems to dissolve into something more controlled than it should be. Around them, the town is beginning to shift toward town square as the noon announcement approaches. Clover notices the restroom nearby and, with visible awkwardness, offers to wait outside if you need to handle official business, trying very hard to remain polite while clearly questioning how her life has reached this point.
You're using lots of big words. Can you explain what they mean through the door here? I'm very interested in what you're saying, but you know the saying, make glue while the sun is shining. Please tell me more.
Clover stands outside the restroom door, hesitating before speaking. She admits there are many things wrong with how the conversation started, then corrects herself and switches to simpler terms, as if trying to rebuild her thoughts from the ground up. She explains that she works for Harmony Holdings and handles financial records. Money comes in and goes out through the system, but the numbers are supposed to match reality. They do not. She confirms this quietly, as if saying it out loud makes it more real. After a flush from inside the building, she continues more steadily. The company claims it has paid certain ponies, but those ponies say they were never paid. It claims to have purchased land that was never actually for sale. It claims to have hired weather teams that, in some cases, do not exist at all. She concludes that someone is lying, possibly stealing, and likely both. Then she adds that the most disturbing part is not just the errors themselves, but how quickly they disappear. Files change, records shift, and ponies begin to remember things differently. She started making copies, and those are the documents now missing from her office. A distant cheer from town square rises as the noon announcement begins to build. Clover lowers her voice and says she no longer believes this is simple fraud. She thinks the town itself is being altered in some way because budgets are wrong, weather is wrong, and property records are wrong, yet every pony behaves as if nothing is unusual. After a pause, she asks quietly if she is making any sense at all, while the crowd outside continues to cheer and she waits for an answer.
From inside the stall, I ask her to speak up. I can't hear her.
Clover immediately takes this literally and responds at full volume. The company's books don't match. Somewhere in the restroom, a stall door creaks open. Outside, a passing pony slows down, then another. Clover continues without noticing, still shouting that some pony is stealing money and possibly committing real estate fraud. I have documents. Or I had documents. One of them blew away. The restroom door opens. A stranger asks if this is a crime report. Clover yells, "No." The stranger replies that it sounds like a crime report. Clover yells back, "I'm having a private conversation." The stranger points out she is yelling about fraud. Clover insists it is because you said you could not hear her. The stranger asks if that is through the door. Clover confirms that it is. The stranger pauses, then says that is fair enough and leaves. The announcement outside grows louder as Town Square comes alive with a magically amplified speech. Clover finally drops her volume slightly, though still far too loud for the setting. She explains again that she has found evidence something is wrong. Then she admits she was hoping a famously stubborn former racehorse would help, and after a pause adds that everyone else she asked said this situation sounded dangerous. She goes quiet and waits for your response, while the town's announcement continues outside.
Well, I don't understand, but I've got nothing better to do, so I'll help. What's she need?
Outside the door, Clover lets out a breath of relief. "Oh, thanks, Celestia." Then she immediately adds that this is also concerning because she has just reported suspected corporate fraud, theft, and something stranger, and your response was essentially that you had nothing better to do. After a moment, she admits that this is probably how most heroes start. She shifts gears, explaining that Harmony Holdings is making a major announcement at noon in Town Square, and she believes it is connected to everything she has found. She does not know how, but the pattern is clear: land purchases across town, missing weather teams, and money moving into projects with meaningless names. She lists them from her notes: Project Sunshine, Project Prosperity, Project Synergy, which earns an audible groan from her. Before she can continue, a massive cheer erupts from outside. It is not random, it sounds coordinated. A magically amplified voice announces the unveiling of a new facility, the Harmony Friendship Optimization Center. The crowd roars. Clover goes silent. Then she mutters, "That sounds evil." The announcement continues, describing a centralized system for weather, agriculture, transportation, recreation, and community coordination. The cheering starts to thin as the speech continues, especially when the goal is described as eliminating inefficiencies and producing measurable friendship outcomes. Even through the walls, the crowd sounds uncertain. Clover turns back to you, voice lower now, and says that if a corporation is talking about measurable friendship outcomes, you should probably go see this. You step outside into the afternoon light. A banner over Town Square reads "Friendship Optimized." Clover stands nearby with her papers as ponies in corporate blue uniforms move through the crowd with clipboards, and the announcement continues. We're going to pause right here and continue next time.